Let me tell you about Zuccotti Park. Now, everybody says in the news reports, well, it's a private property. And, you know, of course, Zuccotti Park can make any decision they like. The owners of it can, and it's Brookfield Properties. What they don't tell you is that in 1968, that company made a deal with the city of New York. They were planning to build a tower that would have violated the zoning laws. So they made a deal that said, hey, you know what? You can build past the zoning laws. But in exchange, Zuccotti Park must be an open public park 24 hours of the day, 7 days of the week. So it is not a private property as in you can do anything you like with it. In fact, by law and by that deal that they struck with New York City, they cannot restrict people from that park. So don't let them mislead you by saying, oh, we're private and we can do anything we want with it. That is just not true, okay? Now, second of all, the cops are the ones that brought people to Zuccotti Park in the first place. The original protest was on Wall Street. They're like, oh, that's too close for comfort. We'll bring you to Zuccotti Park. Well, okay, you're the ones who brought us here. So we, of course we can stay, and by law we can stay. Furthermore, when you look into the company involved, Brookfield Properties, well, you look at this. Turns out they're at least partly subsidized by the government. Always. So what do? They pocketed about $700,000 from government handouts since the 9/11 attacks. Now, why did they get $700,000 from the government? Turns out there was a program to rebuild small businesses in the area. And, you know, they suffered from the attack. That program makes sense, right? But is Brookfield Properties a small business that needed a $700,000 government handout? Well, not exactly. They're an $8 billion company with 2,500 employees. The way they got around that is they said, well, you know, this is one of our subsidiaries, and our subsidiary is kind of a small business. And a friend in the state government was like, yeah, good enough. Give them the $700,000. So some of that money that went into that park, in a manner of speaking, is our money, okay? And it was rebuilt after 9/11 to support that area. Well, that's what it's doing. I can't think of anything more American than freedom of speech that they're exercising right there. And it gets better. You know who else is involved in Brookfield Properties that might be of interest to folks? Well, it turns out Mayor Bloomberg's girlfriend is on the board of Brookfield Properties. Interesting. And they're the ones that have been pressuring the mayor, among others, to say, hey, you know what, those protesters, they got to go from our private property. But you know what? You beat them back. You did it through a brilliant strategy of sticking together, and right now they have not closed down Occupy Wall Street. And look, and I'll give you a note of caution here too, because I remember what happened with Elian Gonzalez, and you know, you could have been on either side of that, and I was on the side of the federal government actually bringing him back to his dad. So I did not mind their move there. Having said that, what happened back then was like, oh, yeah, no, don't worry about it. No, we're not coming to take him. Or we might. I mean, we have a legal right to take him, but we'll see what happens. And then, boom, at 5 in the morning one day, they just went in there and snatched him up from the house. Okay? So is it possible that they think, hey, you know what? We announced it in public, and that didn't work out well. Our bluff got called. Maybe next time we don't announce it when we come to do cleaning. So be careful.